The Adidas Boston 12. We're 200 plus miles deep into the shoe. How is it performing at this time? Let's discuss. So before we get into the video, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're subscribed to watching this content, thanks so much. I love you guys a lot. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Strava for all sorts of updates and things like that. And without further ado, let's begin. Specs for the shoe will be somewhere here where it doesn't contrast with the whiteboard. And we start with the shoe reviews with, of course, what's going on the bottoms of the shoes. So before I get into the disclaimers of what's been going on, what the mileage looks like with them on a weekly basis, here we go. You just kind of see what's going on. I guess we'll put a little bit of shine on here just so we have some extra idea of what's going on so I can explain all of this. And I guess we'll start with the right foot. That seems to be the most consistent one at this point. So as some of you may know from my other videos leading up to this one, I have a slight code yellow type of injury that I'm almost out of the woods with, related to runner's knee, developed from running in a bad pair of shoes, which is my best theory at this point. The thing to note here is that as a result of that, running outside hasn't been a particularly first decision for me just as the recovery process kind of goes. So I've been spending a lot of miles on the treadmill. As a result, you can tell by the shine that we don't have a whole lot of elements kind of busting the shoe up. Instead, we have the tread, which has been experiencing so much wear over time, and whatever kind of marbling that happens from other people's shoes and kind of shine, it ends up polishing the shoe, as you can see here. So as a result, the rubber is still in really good shape. Good news, the wear is not as bad as it would be had I taken the last 100 plus miles or so outside. But that being said, the parts that are starting to break up a little bit more, again, are still on this outside area where the marbling is causing the rubber to kind of start fading in those particular spots. We do have some heel wear, again, from potentially walking in the shoe to and from the treadmill, sometimes using it for a workout, should that have been the choice. But overall, the outsole of the shoe is looking good. Now, let's talk about what's going on with our rubber and not our rubber, more of our foams. Particularly, we're going to use the left foot as an example. And again, when I talk about the left foot here, this is the knee, the left knee, which has been causing me some issues the last couple of days, if not the last 2 weeks, I would say. As a result, my running form had to change slightly to overcompensate for any sort of bending that would have been occurring while running in this shoe. So if this wear is as a result of my foot caving in or, having a different kick up compared to what I would normally do, this would be probably the explanation. But I do have wear on the actual light strike foam on the interior side of the shoe right there. So it's an interesting piece that this is kind of starting to fall apart physically. It's strange because I don't have shoes that typically have this type of wear. So again, that's why I bring this up, that hey, maybe my running form had to change ever so slightly to overcompensate. But also, I was thinking, could I be clipping shoes at some point? It's not unlikely, and the only way this would happen is if my right foot were to cave in on the shoe sort of like this. That's my aerial view of it, and we're getting this kind of clipping. Or if I'm running and we have some pronation that's clipping this way. Now, I don't see too much wear on this side of the shoe that would be indicative of that. So that's kind of my first thought, is maybe that this shoe is kind of clipping into this one somehow down the line. And that's kind of what we're seeing. And again, now when we look at the left foot in terms of wear, same thing. There's a little bit of marbling going on the outsole. And it's a lot smoother, as you can probably see, maybe reflexively. I don't know. It's hard to tell from this camera angle if I'm seeing the same thing you guys are, but point there, maybe we could do it even like this. The idea is that the treadmill is saving a lot of the miles for the shoe, which is great, although I would much rather prefer running outside. Again, it's just tricky because with running outside, the impacts are a little bit greater on the knee and I have to be a little more cautious. Better to play it safe than sorry in this kind of case. Now, other than that, this has been one of the most cooperative shoes in my running schedule, period. It's not the fastest shoe I have, it's not the slowest, it's not the craziest built, but it is the most reliable in terms of running with an injury, just running when I'm at 100%. It's perfect when it comes to, I would say, the design of the shoe, where we don't have exactly a carbon plate, but these plastic nylon wires running through the shoe in the certain areas. So if I need to go on a run, I just need to take a shoe that's like going to be good for everything except a race, perhaps, because if I'm racing, I'll know to bring a race shoe. Then this is like the shoe that would be definitely my go-to piece at this point in time. Now, again, compared to Boston 11, the upper is also very reliable, whereas the upper on the Boston 11 was ripping in various places because of how tight wound it was and how streamlined that shoe was. This one sacrifices that streamline for a little bit of, I guess, stability and, I guess, longevity in its use and cycle, which is nice to think for the customer because, again, comment this down below if you agree or disagree, but, like, shoes ever since 2020 began have like significantly lower quality and have been like marketed towards like runners that will like not run the way that like the average runner does. And that's going to be a whole different worm or like a can of worms I want to explore, but we'll maybe talk about that another time. And I'm sure some people will agree, and it's going to be a hot take video. That's for sure. Ugh. But anyways, point here is that at this point in time, there's probably only one thing I am kind of cautious about. It's not really a red flag or something I dislike about the shoe, but just something I was cautious of the last couple of days, particularly in my right foot. When I'm striking with this shoe, I don't know if it's as a result of the design of the nylon plate per se, but my big toe feels like it's taking a lot of impact in this foot, and I don't know if it's just something that's happening as a result of the injury and overcompensations, or there's some kind of flaw that happens after so many miles where the nylon fatigues and now there's more load, there's less load balancing in the front, and now all of that pressure is kind of occurring in the big toe area of the foot. Not 100% sure. That is just one of the things I'd like to note at this point in time with the Boston 12. Now, will I keep running in this shoe? Absolutely. We still got a lot of rubber and life to go with this shoe, and this was one of the things I discussed again with the Boston 11, which was the rubber on the outsole was amazing and it was holding up really well. I just destroyed the shoes to the point where I couldn't run in them anymore. So as long as the upper on these shoes holds, I think we're going to have a good time. Maybe I can get the shoe to 300, 400 plus miles. We're going to find out. Ugh, what is wrong with me today? I gotta breathe, otherwise I'm going to keep yawning. This is insane. I'm not even tired. But anyways, overall summary of the shoe, holding up really well, very reliable, daily training shoe for speed, recovery, things like that. Reliable if you have runner's knee and you need something to run in. That's just my opinion. Consult your doctor if you have runner's knee or something crazy like that. But anyways, yeah, happy with the shoe so far. We got lots of miles still to go before I can destroy this thing officially, so we're going to continue with that. So thanks again for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that jazz, and I will see you in the next one.